So I can talk about this. Obviously, there's big NDAs and whatever, but like, I was made a non-offer offer from Facebook. They basically said, if this was an offer, what would you say? And they were like, they offered me something like, I think it was like 170k a year. My best month on YouTube, I had 4.5 million views, and I made, I think it was $19,500 plus a coin sponsor. Biggest monthly coin sponsor I ever got was 18.5k. Plus brand deals. Like when you're getting 100 to 200k views a video, you're getting anywhere from 3 to 5k for a brand deal.
Why did you think it was the right time when you did announce it to sort of open up yourself and show the true Haber?
I can't imagine what it would have been for me 10 years ago if I'd have seen the reaction, and like it would have made me almost hate myself. I can imagine people genuinely being angry at themselves for the way they are, because of the reaction people have.
This week on the Full90 Podcast, we speak to YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and social media influencer, It's Haber, covering a wide range of subjects from what it was like living with Morgz, the life of an FC content creator, and how he came out publicly only a couple of years ago. Grab a drink, put your feet up, because this is another can't-miss episode of the Full90 Podcast.
This podcast is part of the Acast Creator Network. Welcome to the Full90 Podcast, and today, Richard, we've got a special guest as we move into the Christmas period.
We certainly have a YouTube superstar, Twitch streamer, content creator. You've probably seen him scoring goals as well as in many a charity match. He's a good friend of ours. It's Haber. Ryan, welcome to the Full90 Pod.
Man, I thought you were talking about someone else then. You brought goals. I'm like, yeah, maybe he's talking about me. What's the prompt to say in there? You got a bad script on. YouTube superstar.
That was Richard's words. But, you got.
What would your words be? Go on.
I would say biggest Man United fan I know.
Right.
Probably the number one.
Ginge, though. Ginger's bigger than me, surely.
The number one share player.
Or has he been on here yet?
He's on the list.
Yeah, he'll be there.
But I'd say overall, just sort of one of the first that sort of went into this share play world. And
yeah, I'll take that. One of the first for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the first share play creators.
There you go. The ego boost.
But Ryan, welcome to the podcast, the Full90. Lovely to have you on.
Thank you for having me on, mate. Honestly, when someone asks me to be on a pod, it's the biggest ego boost you can get. Genuinely.
Well, I know you've caught a few of the episodes before. We kick off the podcast with a pre-match drink. You've probably gone for maybe not the healthiest of them all, but yeah, definitely.
Do I look like the healthiest of them all?
Definitely a favourite drink. Feel free to grab your drink. What have you gone for and talk us through it?
I've gone for. I was going to pick up that water you brought out. Do you know what? I was going to mock him. Pick up your water. I've gone for a Red Bull. Is it this camera? I've gone for a Red Bull, guys. I live off the stuff. I can't lie.
Big fan?
I am a big fan. I love caffeine.
I'm not. I dabble, but I'm not. I can't say I'm in all the way. I like to get my energy in another way. Lucasade.
No, it's an L. Ever since they changed the recipe about 6 or 7 years ago, I haven't bothered.
I thought you were going to say ever since they've changed the wrapper, because the
wrapper's awful.
The wrapper's half the size now.
That is awful. That's a crop top.
It's good.
And it's orange as well. Richard loves an orange drink. I've gone for, you know what? It's a coffee, all right? You know this already by now. But I've gone for a Christmas special. Can anyone guess the syrup that's in the coffee today? It's a Christmas special. Bingo.
Didn't even get a chance.
I would not have guessed that. I was going to go for like pumpkin or something other.
Well, where do we start on this podcast, Rich? So much to talk about across the next 90 minutes.
I think we go all the way back. Take us back to sort of growing up and what was childhood like and moving into your teenage years.
Gosh, it's a therapy session now. Your childhood wasn't great. I had a really normal childhood, I can't lie. It was the most bog standard normal thing ever. It was a normal like little town in Leicester that I grew up. I don't know what else to say really. It was just, it was kind of football central. That was it. It was so normal and basic.
School life?
Yeah, most normal thing ever. I was a little bit naughty in school, I can't lie. I have ADHD, so that wasn't fun in school. I always got in trouble, and it wasn't deliberate, but I was a bit of a shit. Am I allowed to swear? Sorry.
You have now, don't worry.
You can.
We'll edit that one out.
Were you diagnosed at school?
Yeah.
ADHD, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know some people of dinos later in life, and like they then go back and it's like, well, that makes sense now. That all sort of, you put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, no, mine was at school, so I was just really like almost agitated is a word I'd use all the time, and just like wired and constantly on. And then yeah, it was kind of just something that they realized pretty young actually. So I used to always have little things on my desk to fiddle with and stuff, and like I'd have like little one-on-one sessions and stuff. It was pretty normal though, but I would get in trouble a lot.
So after school, did you go to college?
I went to sixth form, which is like, it wasn't in a college, so I went to sixth form for my AS levels, did my AS levels, and then I was there for A levels, but I picked bad subjects, stuff that I wasn't enjoying. I picked media and drama, and it just like was not me. I don't even know why. I think I picked them because they're easy, or I thought they were easy. I'm like, oh yeah, just act, just kind of edit videos and that whilst I'm there, because I was like fiddling around with YouTube on the side. And then the minute the day after I turned 18, I was having an argument with a teacher, and they basically turned around and said, well, you can go. You're 18, you can leave. I went, can I? So they gave me a form. I filled it out. I just left that day, went home. My dad wasn't happy. I said to him, he goes, what are you doing home so early? Like, yeah, I'm done. He's like, what? I'm done with school. Huh? And we had a bit of an argument for about 2 days. Didn't really talk to me for a little while.
Not the only sibling, I believe.
I got a big brother, Lewis.
Was once formerly a YouTuber as well.
Yeah, that's why I was a YouTuber. Well, you say YouTuber is very, very light. He used to.
He made videos.
Kind of, yeah. What he'd do is he used to like sort of play COD all the time, and he'd do like little trick shots, like little phase stuff, clip it, put it on his YouTube channel, and that was it. But like, yeah, we're talking like 3 views, just his 2 mates on Xbox Live chat, and that's it really. But because he did it, I wanted to do it.
How much older was he than you?
4 years.
Okay. I had a brother of 8 years older. I say was, still do. Yeah. Still here.
Still your brother, yeah.
But he did YouTube as well. And I used to, he was probably, 20, 21. I'm like 13. I'd just sit like in the corner of the room and just like watch the process take place. And I was just fascinated by it all. He did
some of your old school YouTube videos are superb.
He did Skyrim back in the day. And like some of his videos like did really well. And he got signed to a, like, what were they, like the YouTube like partner program.
I know what you're talking about. Machinima.
Yeah, it weren't Machinima. It was another one. I can't remember
there's one that begins with a Y. It's like Yogs. No, not Yogs. That's their big. Was it Yoshi or something like that?
Yeah, that's something like that. Yeah. That rings a bell. And he was like, "I'm gonna be a YouTuber. This is the dream. This is the dream." And then, I think life just caught up with him. But yeah, those. I did a couple of YouTube videos early, like I was probably 16, 17. They've never seen the light of day, but maybe I'll bring them out. 5,000 subs on the channel. Yeah. I'll release it. I'll make them public.
Make them shorts.
I'll make them public.
Make it happen. Speaking of YouTube watchers that are watching the podcast today, if you notice something different about the set, drop a comment down below, because we may have forgot to bring certain things back to the studio. My fault and Richard's.
I'll take responsibility.
Moving back on, so college you stopped.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing uni was never in the equation.
No, not really. I just wasn't a good school person. Some people are really good kind of at school, and that's. I just wasn't. Like I got decent grades. It just wasn't my thing. Not taking orders, but like the way that I think there was always a dynamic between students and teachers, and I hated it. I just hated the idea that this person is like my superior in life because he's a teacher. Like, I don't know.
So just for context, how old are you now?
25.
So from 18 to 25,
yeah.
From then to current day, 7 years. How did it go? Like,
well, so when my dad finally started talking to me again, we rekindled the relationship about a week later. He basically goes to me, he goes, right, you've got a year to make the tax threshold. Obviously we get to write off our personal allowance. I think at the time it was actually less than it is now. It's like 11k or something. He goes, you've got a year to make that. If you don't, you're getting a job. So I knuckled down for a year, did all sorts, did editing for people. I did editing for like AJ Free and Oakley, Reeve, people like that. Just scraped it. I scraped it through a brand deal with, what they called now? They were the old like pro company. I forgot their name now. That's going to bug me.
While you're thinking, how did you even get to editing for them guys? Like, because I imagine there's people out there now who probably want to do that. Like, how do you even get in contact with these people?
It's so stupid. Through playing PUBG.
Okay.
Basically, because I was just at home all day. I was watching Capcom and Tom used to do these daytime PUBG streams. Used to absolutely love them, right? And he was actually the first person I edited for. But he'd be streaming, he'd need like a fourth or something. I'd just go in his chat, be like, "Can I play with you?" So we started playing, and I was making YouTube videos at the time. Had maybe like 5 or 10k subs at the time, and he wanted to do a FIFA bingo, and I couldn't afford the FIFA points to do the FIFA bingo. So he goes, "All right, if you edit this video for me, I'll just pay for your FIFA points so we can do the FIFA bingo. So you edit mine and then we'll do yours as well and I'll pay for it. You edit the video." And that just became like a thing. It was like, "Oh, you know, do you want to edit this FIFA bingo?" And I'll either he'll give me 12k FIFA points at the time to do a FIFA bingo, or he'd pay me whatever it was at the time, like 70 quid or something. So that just became a thing regularly. And then when someone like Oakley or Reeve or someone in that circle needed an editor, Tom would always say, "I'll, you know, go message Haber, he does my stuff." That's kind of how it happened. I wouldn't say they were like regular clients. It was more so like one-off videos. "Oh, I'm doing this tomorrow. Can you edit this video? Just chuck me a video to do." And, "Oh, I need to do this next week." And then I started doing editing for Andy. I don't know if I never knew if Andy was pissed off by this or not, right? So I started editing for Andy, and it was going to be a regular thing. And it's like, Andy's great to work for because he gives a monthly salary, and he's very like generous with what he pays per video and also like time of working and stuff. So about a month into working regularly with Andy, Morgz messages me and he's like, "Do you want to move in and be my editor full time? I'll pay you this and you can live with me." So I ended up doing that like a month after working with Andy. And Andy was, I don't know if he was angry or not. Like, he was kind of fuming, but like, I don't know if he was joking or if he was being serious.
So in that time, what were the videos that Andy was making?
Scotland Showdance.
So you were one of the first editors of the famous series?
Oh no, it wasn't. It was he. I mean, yeah, maybe after him, yeah. So this was 5 years ago now, 6 years ago, something like that.
I hope you're getting dividends on that.
Yeah, I know. I should get one of those, like, you ever seen those videos of the residual check videos of people, these actors from like 10 years? I should be getting those, to be honest. It'd be like my 8 cents checks.
You mentioned Morgz there.
Yeah.
I feel as though there's a conversation that we probably need to go into.
That was a wacky time.
The part when you said you studied drama at A levels, I thought that comes in perfectly,
that
right?
Come into play, yeah. You can definitely tell that was a wacky time, man. That was like that. I lived with him for about 5 or 6 months, and in that time, that was like the only time of my life I've ever experienced what it's like to be a genuine celebrity, because the views he was getting on these videos was nuts, and I was in all the videos. Like, originally I wasn't supposed to be. I was just supposed to be the editor, but like, I was in 1 or 2, and then people liked it, so that he just kept bringing me in the videos. But then it got to the point where you can't go out anywhere because all these kids, unless it's school time, the amount of kids that'd go crazy and recognize you. But like, kids don't have boundaries either. So like, I'd be like in a restaurant or something. Like, I was in Wagamama's once in Meadowhall,
yeah, and
I'm not kidding. There's about 20 kids outside. I was by myself. It was worse when he was there, way worse. But like, when it was me, it was, you know, it was 50-50, depends on the day. And I finished my meal, I go to walk out, and there was just 20 kids just waiting outside this restaurant. I was like, fuck no. It was crazy. It was a bit of a nightmare, but...
What... I think I was probably... the content that was being made there, it wasn't made for me at the time.
Are you sure? Brandon used to love the videos. He used to message me all the time.
I was in the comments.
How and what... like, what was the process behind those videos and that time? Like, why did it explode? Was it the creative process? Was it him?
I think it was a top-notch acting.
Just Morgz being like a genius at that time and like getting ahead of the trend, like, or was it just a mix of everything? Because I think you very rarely do you see like one YouTuber explode like that now in like this current time. Like, it's a lot of like groups, or it's a lot of people like collaborating together. Like, he was everywhere.
Yeah. Well, when I moved in with him, I think he had about 3 or 4 million subs at the time. So he's already like really established. But those videos started really taking off because he changed his style from. He got very popular off Pokemon Go at one point, and then he sort of changed into doing like pranks and stuff. But then he sort of started doing the like Mr. Beast style videos. And to be fair to him, I've seen very small amounts of people that are really switched on and really screwed on when it comes to sort of YouTube and what people enjoy and the algorithm and all that sort of stuff. And he just got it. Like there was just something in his brain that he just understood, everything clicked, and it was a masterclass in terms of how he would sort of think of an idea and then plan it out in the way that people would continue watching it. And then it was like hours after the video's gone live, it's checking to see, you know, what points of the video people are clicking onto and then clicking off of, and then in the next video, okay, we're going to make sure that this point has even more sort of stuff happening so that they're not clicking off and stuff. It was crazy. And it's like, you see now sort of loads of videos on Mr. Beast and studying it, and it was like, that was kind of what he was doing as well at the time, just not to a level of Mr. Beast, but like that kind of like just crazy switched on and just understood it.
We recently had Chufters on.
I was going to mention it. Chuff is mental with it.
His story, check it out. It's a good podcast. But basically, we're just like, I studied YouTube. I learned it. Like, he'd come from a banking background and very analytical, and he was just like, I took some time, I learned it, and it paid off. Yeah,
Chuff is crazy. He's exactly like that. He's just so switched on. He just gets it. I mean, I live with Brooks, who edits for Chuff on his More Chuff channel, and like some of the voice notes there, like that he's sending to Brooksy and stuff about videos, and there'll be tiny specifics that you just don't understand why he's so focused on it, but then it'll be that small specific that just works for some reason, and it just carries that part of the video, and it's nuts. It is crazy, and Morgz was just like that. The process though, and the reason why I had to move out was it was nuts. It was like we'd wake up at like 9-10 in the morning, record for a whole day. These videos would take the entire day, and it was really sort of monotonous because he would have to take about 8 or 9 attempts at a certain part of the video as well. It would be like the intro, but that one wasn't just right, so let's do 10 more. And then because I'm editing it and I've already seen him do the intro because I'm stood next to him trying not to laugh or like trying not to like fall asleep whilst we're doing it, I've then got to edit it and then remember which one he liked the most, or then asking, you know, which one do you want? So we spend the whole day editing it. Then we had to spend hours sorting this footage out as well, because it's like 10 different cameras at some times. It's like 7-8 hours of footage. Figuring out like where each one goes and stuff was crazy. Then I had to actually edit the videos. So I was getting to bed at sometimes at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and then just wake up at 9 a.m. the next day to do it all again. So it was a lot.
How many days a week was he filming then?
Depends really, because it wasn't just him. It was his mum's channel. It was Kira as well, his girlfriend at the time. So like it could have been 7 days a week some weeks, where it was just non-stop, on and on and on, constant, and there just wasn't time off ever. So it was, and I know it sounds like I'm moaning. Like I get it. It's not like I wasn't doing manual labor, so I wasn't physically exhausted, but it was fatiguing to do that kind of thing so much.
Obviously, you're still really good friends with him now, and he's obviously got a different sort of approach now to YouTube. Do you think he got to a stage where it was just a bit of a burnout? Or
I think potentially, yeah. I think also he kind of got to a point where he just like realized he'd spent so long doing this and he hadn't actually enjoyed his life as well. And I think now when I look at him and see the stuff he's doing, it just seems like he just seems like he's really enjoying himself at the moment, which is fair enough, because he spent best part of like the later years of his childhood, his sort of late teens, early 20s, not leaving the house. We would not leave the house.
They often say that's the point in time as well where you like realize sort of what person you are, and I think he smashed it, but he sort of got some living to do.
100%, yeah.
You moved out.
Yeah.
Then what?
Moved out. Spent sort of 6 months back living with my dad. At that time, my channel was doing better, but I'd taken the stance not to try and grow off of him. I just carried on doing FIFA because I wanted to do my own thing. So it took a lot longer than I was hoping to try and sort of get to a point. But I was at a point where I could do it full time. And then me and the lads, we all moved out. We moved to Leeds, this massive house in Leeds. That ended up being a shit show, but you know, we moved to this house in Leeds sort of late summertime of 2019, I think it was.
I have to say that 2019 winter filled my days with a bit of entertainment as well, with the drama that was going on. Fortunately enough that all played out all right though in the end.
Oh man, that was a nightmare. It was a nightmare because like I handled it horrendously, and it was genuinely all my fault that it happened. But also like I was 100% a victim of just the truth, either people not like understanding what was being said about me and making their own conclusions, or like the truth being skewed a little bit because of emotions at the time. But like it all happened because it was my fault, so I've got to firm the L. I
think as well, whenever things play out publicly, like it just always ends badly. Like
yeah, terribly. Yeah, it ended awfully.
Just on that house as well, because I've spoken with a few of you lads as well about it. It's quite a funny story in some ways. So you all moved into a house in Leeds, basically all FIFA content creators, right? Yeah. And didn't you get a complaint about noise?
Just for context, the creators were...
It was myself, Brooksy HD, Flair FIFA, Nerdfire, Curbs, and Vizza.
So you got 7 lads.
At 6 p.m, all going mental.
I don't know how. We only had one internet. We had one Virgin box, and somehow it like held up. I was really impressed with that. But so to paint the picture, it was a really, really sick house. It was like a mansion in Leeds. And I mean, if you've ever been to Leeds or ever looked on Rightmove, you can get a mansion for about 46 quid a month. So it was this lovely house in Leeds. But the problem was it was in a small courtyard where there was 2 other houses. So our next door neighbour, who was pretty much between the distance between us here, was an old couple named... Oh, actually, I'm not going to name them. I'm just going to stop myself there.
Name this, their address was this.
Yeah. I just realised, like, the thing is, at the time, like, I really held a grudge against these people because, like, they ruined our life for a long time. Like, I mean, it was only like 4 months, but it felt like a long time. They genuinely ruined our life. But also, like, I can see their point of view now. Now I'm older and I've realised I can see, like, 7 sort of early, like, 19, 20-year-olds moving into this house and just being a nuisance. Like, I'd hate it.
They also, I don't want to cut you off too much, but they also probably didn't have a clue what you were doing.
Oh, they had no idea.
So like, you see 7 lads moving into a house together, you're like, what on earth is happening in this house?
Yeah, it was mental. So when we first moved in, the problem as well is that I don't do it so much anymore, but like I had this tendency to just like treat strangers like they were my best friend. So like just tell them everything. So originally we moved in and we were supposed to have 4 of us move in at the time because they didn't have what's called a HMO license, a house of multiple occupancy, which you need for, I think, more than 4 people if they're not of a family. So we had to wait, I think it was 90 days or something like that for the other lads to come in. But we were just like, oh, they're not going to care if we just all move at the same time. But I told the neighbours, I was like, yeah, we're supposed to have 4 of us, but we're just going to move like all of us in for now.
They were like, write that down.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Get that down. Gary, get it down.
Yeah.
24th September 2019.
Did I tell you his name?
No.
It wasn't Gary. I had you though. Yeah, so I told them that. So that was the first thing they were doing. As soon as they weren't happy, first thing they did was onto the estate agent, look, we're not happy. They've got 7 people living here. So estate agent comes and views it, and we had 2 days to basically pretend that Curbs, Nerdfire, and someone else wasn't, I can't remember who else it wasn't living here. So we were like,
I did see that when Nerdfire was back at his house about 2 weeks after. What happened with the house move, mate? Did it not go well?
Yeah, no, he basically had to go home for like a couple of days, and like we had to like we basically made his room look like it was just a storage room at the time. So that wasn't great. The annoying thing though was that Curbs didn't drive. So what we had to do is Curbs just went into Leeds for the day whilst they came in. Kirby just had to leave for a day whilst they came in, and we had to just pretend that he wasn't there.
Did having loads of content creators, maybe not in that example, but in other examples, was it a good thing in the end?
It was class when we lived there. I loved it because it was just having so many people at the same time. You could go out and do stuff. It was sick, but it was a bit much. I think 7 people in one house when you've got 1 washing machine, you haven't got a dishwasher as well. So we had to there was a rota for all that sort of stuff. Bathrooms, people sharing bathrooms and stuff. That became, especially when all lads and stuff like that, that became a bit of an issue. But the main issues were that we were definitely loud. Some of us were louder than others, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus because some of us were louder than others. And also, we had a football net in the back garden, so we'd like kick around a football and stuff, but the neighbours didn't like that either. Like constantly hearing me thump, I hit a ball hard, so it's constantly hearing me thump a football.
You got Haber doing knuckleballs in the back garden.
4 in the morning.
I'd be annoyed.
It wasn't a big garden either. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a huge garden. So it was, yeah. So they weren't happy. Balls going over into people's gardens and stuff like that was not happy. So there was a lot of complaints.
But I can imagine from like a creative point of view as well, it must have been like quite nice as well. Obviously to have that social life, but also everyone's creating the same style of content, no?
You're also all, not even that, but like sometimes when you speak to creators, first episode, sometimes it gets lonely. You've actually got people to speak about who know exactly what you're going through as well. Like you can walk into Flair's room and be like, yeah, my stream weren't very good today. How was it?
Well, maybe not Flair's room, because that guy streamed for like 18 hours a day. Well, he had
6 months on, 6 months off.
That guy's crazy. Even now.
If he walks into Flair's room and say, go away, I'm about to make 1 million coins on this player.
Flair, up until this year, Flair for the first like 5 or 6 months of every FIFA would genuinely stream from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. every single day. And then he would the only time I'd ever see him is if luckily I was passing him when he was going to the toilet or getting a drink or something. That was the only time I'd ever see him. And he would just, 10 p.m, he would turn his stream off. I'm not kidding, go straight into his room and go straight to bed. And that was his like life for 6 months. It was nuts. So he wasn't one we'd see very often. But
one thing I'd just to add on that about Flair, which I absolutely love about the guy, is like when I spoke to him before, it must have been game comes out, say September. This was a past FIFA, maybe FIFA 22. And we were away together in the maybe in July or June.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Are you not bothered about like your like content or streaming or income?" And he goes, "No, I've made what I need to make in the 6 months of the year. I'm done now. I'm going to take it easy, and then when the next game comes out, I'll start again." I was like, "That's a mindset, that is."
I could not imagine doing his first 6 months, but like he genuinely takes the second 6 months off, and it's like, wow, that guy lives a life. And it's also the summer that he gets off. Like, so it's just the winter he's just inside knuckling down, sort of grinding, and then like it starts to get warmer outside. He's just off, mate. He's doing whatever.
So you move out of that house.
Yeah.
And then you reduce the numbers. Yes.
So the numbers mainly reduced because it was a couple of reasons. So Liam had got a girlfriend as well. So we were just like, well, if he's got a girlfriend, they're going to want to move in together and stuff like that. They're going to want to do their own thing. Kirby wanted to move back with his parents. He just wasn't for him. And same with Tom. Tom is really family orientated. He loves his parents, and he just did not want to be away from them anymore. So he moved back with his parents, and that left us a dilemma. It was like we could try and find somewhere for the 5 of us, but we'd need to get a HMO license, and also then we're living with someone who's got a girlfriend as well. It's like that might have been a bit of a weird dynamic. But with 3 of us, we don't need a HMO. We can just go and find somewhere and move in. So we basically just did that. Me, Brooksy, and Flair just kind of found a place in Runcorn, just outside Liverpool. But yeah, we found that place, and we moved in and we lived there for 6 months.
It's 6 months, 6 months, 6 months.
Right, yeah.
It seems like a pretty I'm guessing you weren't signing 6 month leases.
We actually did sign a 6 month lease in Runcorn, but in Leeds, we signed 6 months for both of them. Leeds were only there for 3 months.
And then
we left because it was a mutual thing where it's like, all right, we just leave. The estate agent stopped gets hounding by these neighbours and stuff like that. It was mutual.
Helps all parties.
Exactly, yeah. In Runcorn, we left after 5 months, but that was for a few different reasons. So, firstly, our downstairs toilet, there was some issue with the septic tank. So it effectively smelt like sewage in there. We sealed off the door completely. I still remember one time I hadn't warned my mum, and she'd come to visit the house, and she's like, I'm just going to go to the toilet, opens this door and gets hit with this like stench. Oh man, and it stunk the whole house out. So that was a nightmare. And no matter how many times we told the landlord, he just refused to fix it. It was just whatever. The actual house itself was made really, it was a new build, but they'd done it really cheap. So floorboards had come up. Bits had been flooded and things like that. Like it was an absolute nightmare. And then after 5 months, the other issue was the internet. We were told we could get Virgin Internet, couldn't. So we're on Sky, and this Sky Internet was rubbish. So if Flair was streaming, I couldn't stream or upload. So what I had to do was, if I was making a video and Flair was streaming, I had to put it onto a USB and then drive to the top of this hill where I get my best phone signal, tether it to my laptop and upload it via my laptop. And I had to do that every day, sometimes twice a day. It was a nightmare. So we gave up after 5 months and just moved out. While
all this sort of drama house is going on, the YouTube content is continuing to grow. Numbers are
Yeah.
continuing to go up, and you started streaming a lot more as well. Did you start to see, especially on YouTube, like when did the ball really start to pick up with views and subscribers and
Lockdown, absolutely. Lockdown was crazy. Lockdown, I went from getting like 100 viewers on Twitch to like 2K. I went from getting like 5K views a video to like 100K. Like, it was nuts. Lockdown was a crazy blow up period. I'd say my only issue was that like I didn't really understand why people were watching me, because like I think I can be entertaining, but when it comes to FIFA and stuff like that, I feel like I'm just exactly the same as everyone else. Like, the videos are bog standard. Like, I don't think they're particularly special. So like when I saw these numbers, I'm like, why are people watching me? I just didn't get it. So like I just carried on doing the same thing over and over again, but never really adapted anything. So like, yeah, lockdown was a crazy blow up, and it carried on for about a year, 18 months, maybe a bit longer than that, until like other people started coming along. And then like when that happened, I was just like, oh, I don't really know what to do now. People are watching other people. I don't know how to like compete. So, but before that, I had a monopoly, mate. I loved it. I was a share play guy, man.
How hard was it when First question, the YouTube and Twitch, what was main priority?
YouTube.
For you?
Always YouTube.
When you started seeing the Twitch numbers blowing up, did you think there's a more sort of like, I can do this more now? Like, or was it always just, I'm just streaming to kill time, get content?
Yeah, it was just streaming to get content, really. I never made profit on Twitch because ad revenue wasn't a thing back when I was getting those numbers. Or it was, but it wasn't to the level it is now. So I was like, I think I'd get like an average of my best month, I think I averaged 2.5K viewers, and I think I had like 400 subs. And I want to say that month I made about $1,000 on Twitch, which obviously
is ridiculous, really. Like when you consider how
it's decent money.
2.5K views.
Yeah, crazy. Like my biggest issue was that I didn't have management or anything like that back then. So I had no one telling me, if you continue this, big companies will pay you a shitload of money for a 12-month contract to just stream with their logo on. Because like for 2.5K views, you could be looking at 5-10 grand a month from some companies. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Did Facebook come knocking?
Facebook did come knocking, yeah. Facebook, I had, so I can talk about this. Obviously, there's big NDAs and whatever, but like, I was made a non-offer offer from Facebook. They basically said, if this was an offer, what would you say? And they were like, they offered me something like, I think it was like 170K a year, which is just ridiculous. And I regret not taking it. But at the time, I think I was kind of smart with not taking it, because had I gone to Facebook, it would have been like going from 2K viewers down to like 30. And all of a sudden, I wouldn't be getting share plays. I wouldn't be getting the content. So the YouTube channel would completely die. And I think had I have taken that deal, now I think I'd be doing a normal job.
What was that deal entailing? Like, what was it? It's 170,000 for the year.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember exactly what it was.
Was it a 160 hour?
No, it was. I don't think it was. I think it was an 80 hour. I can't remember. There was what?
Why
what
did
was
you take it?
What?
It was 80
Oh no!
hours.
Do you know what? I think it was 120, because I think it was 80, 120, 160 with the three tiers.
That's not bad. 120 hour.
It was great, but I couldn't stream on Twitch as well though. It was exclusive, and it's like I wasn't making more than that, I don't think, from my YouTube channel, but from just views. But I was making more than that from like everything combined on the YouTube. So it was like, I think it just made sense longevity wise. And trust me, I mulled this over. Like, my dad comes from a marketing background, and we had like hours of conversations about it before I eventually said no. Like, we looked at every angle, like, but yeah, it just was. I think it was smart not to.
You also, as you said, like the Twitch stream, getting those share plays is where then the YouTube flourishes.
Yeah.
If you then take away the content and take away the Twitch stream and take away those share plays, it's very hard to make YouTube content in the style that you are doing with share play heavy content.
I'm glad he didn't come to Facebook as well, because I wouldn't have had any share plays left. So maybe in hindsight, it was a great thing.
The thing is that I think with my content, I don't think people really watch me for me. I think people are watching to see either loads of packs or just watching for the game itself. So had I have gone to Facebook, I would not have got a lot of viewers at all. I genuinely would have got like 10, 20. I'd have got like AJ3 on TFT numbers. Like, I'd have got no viewers because people wouldn't have come over to Facebook for me. They'd have just gone and found someone else on Twitch. And then coming back, I'm not like one of those big names. I'm not like a Danny Aaron. So I wouldn't have had like a big, oh my God, he's back. Let's go and watch him. It'd have been like
starting again.
Yeah, literally. So I just don't think anyone would have cared me going either way. But I think that like year or two period where I think it might have been a 2-year contract. I think that would have ended up me in the long run
hurting more.
Yeah, dying off a lot quicker.
Well, in terms of YouTube, so to speak, obviously, can you remember when you uploaded your first video? Like, you can't remember. But we're talking like 2000. Do you remember the first FIFA that you were doing it on?
Remember the first FIFA I played was FIFA 12, but I barely played that. Then I played FIFA 13, but I wasn't. I'd like made channels and stuff in like 2007 and like made random videos, and I don't even remember the channel names. So I'd love to find those old videos, but I just don't even remember them.
So can you remember when you got the channel monetized? What FIFA that was?
Back then, when I made it, every channel was monetized.
Okay.
You didn't need requirements, nothing like that. Every single channel got monetized. So I remember my first paycheck was like $1.90 from Curse Network back when I was with them. I do remember getting that. I was in school. I got an email. I was in like year 10 or year 11.
Get it!
Got an email. It's like your revenue earnings have been paid. It was like $1.90. I was like, yeah. What a boy.
And whether you want to say the figure or not, how much can a FIFA EAFC YouTuber make at peak per month?
Ridiculous
from
numbers.
Just videos.
My best month on YouTube, I had 4.5 million views, and I made, I think it was $19,500 plus a coin sponsor. Biggest monthly coin sponsor I ever got was 18.5K. Plus brand deals, like when you're getting 100 to 200K views a video, you're getting anywhere from 3 to 5K for a brand deal per video. And at peak, I was maybe getting 2 a month. Oh no, actually at peak during the World Cup, I remember. Sorry, not the World Cup, the Euros. During the Euros, I was getting, this one company kept doing brand deals on my channel. It was like 3 per week, and they were paying like $3,000 a video. And it was the easiest thing because I just uploaded the same 90-second segment in every video. And I got like 7 of those in 1 month of them just constantly. And like they were great as well because they paid 2 days later. They didn't have like 90-day pay scales. They paid me 2 days later for it. So like that was nuts.
Because that's how a lot of people make their money in terms of like if the CPM isn't great in their genre, it is from a
sponsor or brand deal.
Or brand deal. So for a 90-second integration at peak, you were charging what, $3,000?
Most I charged, I think, would have been like, it was anywhere from 3 to 5K. I think most I would have got probably about 4.5K pounds for one. I think would have been like the most I ever got.
And then if it was a 60-second,
wait, what was that one?
Was that a 90-second?
They're about the same. Like I don't think I've ever had a 60-second one. It's usually just 90 seconds.
That's
like
normally the max in it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, very good numbers.
Yeah. Nice to think back on.
I can see maybe why you didn't
Don't get
change
those
things
now.
up.
As for share plays in particular, just for anyone who's wondering as well, if you're not familiar what a share play is, through the PS5, if I make a pack or an Ultimate Team, a icon pack, and I want Haber to open it, there's a thing through the PS5 where you can take control over my PlayStation and open it. Why did you start on share plays, firstly? And are you surprised now that share plays still do as well as they do? Because I think I don't watch share play content at all. Like if I've got content I want to do, I just open it myself. Like I don't understand. I don't get why share play content is as big as it is.
I think it's just being able to open loads of the same pack, and the pack content's just being crazy. Like if you did a share play opening 107.5K, no one's going to care. But you open like an icon pack or something, and people are just gassed to see like 20 or 30 different icon packs. When I first started doing it, so originally it was from rewards. I remember back in the day when monthly rewards came out, like you'd see Nep or someone like that open 2 sets a month, the top 100 rewards, and they would do it via logging into someone else's account, but you could only have 10 accounts per console. And SharePlay was a thing back then. It's just no one really put 2 and 2 together and thought to do it like that. So you'd have these content creators either, I don't know if they went out and bought new consoles or how they did it, but maybe they had it pre-recorded and sent to them, but they'd open like 2 or 3 sets of monthly rewards sort of every month. And I remember seeing those and thinking like, God, can you imagine getting like 10? Can you imagine having like a half an hour video, 10 of them? Because the longer the video, typically the better CPM. These videos got like 1 million views sometimes. It was crazy.
They all banged the monthly rewards.
All banged. So when I started getting numbers, the issue was you had to pay people back then as well for the rewards, and I couldn't really afford to pay anyone. So when I started getting decent numbers, I could afford to pay people. I'd pay for rewards, but it'd be like elite rewards and stuff. And it cost me like 10, 20 quid. So it wasn't, the top 100s were expensive. But I remember running into the same issue of the 10 account thing. So when someone told me about SharePlay just randomly, like, oh, we could play, I think it was the demo. I think I was getting told you could play the demo with someone else on SharePlay. I remember thinking, like, why don't you just SharePlay your FIFA game when opening packs? Like, so I started doing that, and it took a while for people in my streams to really like get it, because it was like teaching sort of new thing. But then when that finally became a thing, other content creators must have seen me do it, or maybe had the same idea as well, and it just became like a big thing. SharePlay became like a repeated word now. It's just like a vocabulary. It's not a vocabulary now. We just know, oh, send me a SharePlay. It's just like you send in your pack. So it kind of just happened like that. But there wasn't really people like ripping open 20 or 30 packs then. So when I started getting big numbers on Twitch, and all I was doing is opening packs, it was like, okay, I could either spend all my money on FIFA points, or this new pack came out, boys. Do you want me to open yours through SharePlay? And when that finally caught on, it just started going like wildfire. Yeah,
it was a crazy time. I still remember those views. Said 100k plus views a video, like unbelievable times. Was that FIFA 22 or was that FIFA 23?
21. It was the Euros year. It was the big year. Was that FIFA 20 or FIFA 21? 21, yeah. So the Euros year was a big year, and then 22 was a big year as well. 23 was meh, but that's my fault because I just took half the year off, really. I was so lazy last year, and then this year it's like this year's a slog, man. This year's I don't even know what's happening with content creators' views this year. It's crazy.
How have you found FC so far? Not necessarily from a gameplay perspective, because we'd ask pro players that question. Yeah.
To be fair, he did get a few 20-0s.
I did well. FIFA 19 and FIFA 20, I was actually really good at the game. I remember FIFA 19, I did get like Elite 1 a couple of times. Like, I was actually really good. And then I stopped playing the gameplay to focus on packs. I mean, you can tell them now, like, we've played each other multiple times. I'm pretty ass at the game. Like, I'll do something that's sick. Like, I'll have like 10 seconds of me playing insane FIFA, and then like 2 minutes later, I'm conceding the dumbest goal, and you can just see why I'm bad at the game now. But like, there's still stuff there. Like, there's still understanding of the game, but it's just I don't understand it enough to be good anymore.
The current content that's been released, I mean, Black Friday recently went by. The amount of packs and it was a bit overwhelming, to be honest. The sheer amount of content that's out in the game. How have you found it from a content perspective as a creator? Like, is it? Because I also noticed I've not seen you live as much on Twitch recently as well. Is there a direct correlation between views maybe being down on YouTube a little bit and not wanting to be live on Twitch as well? Or
for me this year, personally, it's just I've had personal stuff going on, which is why I've not been doing a whole lot this year. I had some tragic events in the summer, and that's kind of why I've not been doing a huge amount this year. But I think I'll be back to regularly streaming and doing a lot probably after Christmas. I think like that's probably enough time to get stuff sorted, and then after Christmas I think I'll be back to doing like longer streams and posting more content. But I think in general the content this year is just a bit like it's a bit samey, isn't it? It's just the same thing now. It's been a few years of just 6 p.m. we'll get either a pack or a player pick or something, we'll open it, and then that's that. So
what do you think would be the best case scenario in terms of new content to come through?
I don't know. I've often thought this. I thought, what can they do that's new? Because realistically, all they can really do is bring out a pick or a pack, because the game is limited to what you can actually do, right? You just get another good player, or like, you know what I mean? So I don't
know. I don't think the content is like, it's not for us. Like, it's for the newer players.
Yeah,
like, we've seen all this before. Like, the crazy SBCs that come out, the icon packs that come out. Like, I've been playing Ultimate Team since 2011, since SBCs came in midway through the 2010s. We've seen it all. Like, there's only so much you can do, and I think we've seen like the newer stuff in the store, the huge untradeable packs, the 3,500 FIFA point packs, or FC packs, should I say? Sorry, that's the content that is new.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for a lot of people, in a cost of living crisis, they can't afford to consume that content, or they want more gameplay oriented content rather than store or SBC content.
I think as well, it's just a lot more competitive. There's a lot more people doing share plays now, right? So to try, like, I would love to know from you, Haber, is like that process of trying to be first out. You know, because you used to have it down to a T.
Tom's
pretty good at the moment.
When I did the XL podcast, Tom had a really good thing. He called it the 6 p.m. rat race, and actually that's a really good term. My process is that I just edit it as I go along. So I just have it on another monitor. I just have it editing, and then when I open a pack, whilst I'm joining that share play, I'll stick it in, chop it, and sort of get it all sorted out. But like,
so what time do you go live then?
Sort of 5:30 till like max 7 p.m. Just depends really.
My favourite, I've watched a decent amount of your streams. My favourite bit is content comes out. Okay, guys, we've got an 86 plus hero pack. Let's get into the first one. And it's like you can tell when, okay, I'm taking it from now. That's the pack. Okay, talk to the chat. Thanks for the sub. Yeah. Okay, next pack. Pack number 2. Let's see what we've got. And it's just like you know exactly, this bit's going in the video, this bit's not, this bit's going in the video. I suppose that's how you get it out so fast.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got a little bit better now at sort of talking in those points, but it's like those little cuts, like I will not talk because then I see the audio peaks, like talking and then talking again. So I've kind of got a bit better at that, but that is the funniest one is like doing the coin sponsor at the start. I'd be like, right guys, content's out.
Insert coin sponsor here.
Yeah, is 20 seconds gone by yet? Yeah. Might have been. Yeah, so let's open the pack. So that is funny.
In terms of the titling of the video, because I've seen that change over times as well, when you've got maybe like, let's just say Bateson, Orzio, yourself, X, Y, and Z share play content that's coming out, it's like 43 of the icon packs or 27 of the icon packs or 51 of the icon packs. Is that just the case of like everyone's trying to look at like how many, everyone's just looking to get the extra number in there? Or I
don't know. I always keep mine very 20, 30, 15. Like I try and keep mine in 5 intervals. And I will just lie if it's not. If I've opened 24, I'll just call it 25. If I've opened 19, it's 20. Like who's? I'm
sure there'll be someone in the comments.
If someone counts them, bro, fair enough. You know what I mean? You get a pin in the comment. Like but yeah, I'll just lie. People aren't going to care, are they? No. You know, they just want to see a bunch of the packs.
True.
So that's happened, and obviously you came out last year on Twitter and saying that you've had a lot of time off as well in terms of the content. What did you do in those sort of 6 months? Because you said last year you didn't really properly sort of push yourself through.
Just did do loads. I watched a load of football matches and travelled a little bit. What else I do? Some days I was just being lazy. But yeah, a lot of it was just kind of doing a bit of travelling, watching football matches, and kind of just taking a bit of time off.
I guess as well that you sort of enjoyed like the fruits of your labour. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah. I think the one thing that I made a mistake on last year was thinking that I had it difficult though. I used to I definitely put in a big slog for a couple of years, like streaming a lot of hours and posting videos every day and stuff like that. And then I got to a point where I thought I had it hard done. I was like, oh man, I work so hard and I'm so tired all the time. And then I sort of realized 8 or 9 months into the year, I was like, this is the fucking dream job. What is wrong with me? Why am I acting as if I'm like have a hard life? Like it's easy. I just play a game. Like, so when I realized that's when I started working harder again. But then I was like, unfortunately, this game is a consistency based game, and if you're not super consistent, you will fall off very quickly. So when I started working hard again, I'm like, oh crap, I might have blown it. My numbers aren't amazing anymore. So I wish I'd had that epiphany earlier, where like, because it almost took a lot of stress off my shoulders when I realized actually it's not a difficult job.
Do you? We'll be wrapping up the first half very shortly. Last question from me before we do blow the whistle. Do you enjoy the current state of the FC YouTube sort of scene?
No, not at all. There's no creativity in it anymore. Well, there kind of is. Like, you've got different sides of it. You've got like Chuff and Raz and people like that have like a really fun, creative element to their content. And then you've got our side, which is just the most mundane, monotonous, same thing every day. And I don't enjoy that at all. I wish there was like more creativity, but the issue is YouTube is a game. And unfortunately, the rules of the game are if you do this sort of content, you can't put any sort of heart into it because it does not get rewarded at all. Like, what gets rewarded is being consistent and being there at the same time. It doesn't matter if you're a mundane person or not, if you're the most energetic person, if you're creative, if you're not creative, you just have to be consistent and quick.
It is a little bit, on one side, it's a little bit sad in some ways, though, because you have to be so consistent to a point where you don't have... There's a lot of sacrifices that you have to make. Like, you need to be there every night at the same time. You need to upload first. And it can play a huge toll on you. But at the same point, it can be so incredibly rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. I think the one issue I used to have a lot with it was that I felt like my days were being robbed a little bit, because it was like, it's such an awkward time sometimes. Going live at like 4 or 5 p.m. through to like 7 p.m. having that like period is awkward, because it's like, if it was in the morning, get it done in the morning and you've got the rest of the day. If it was late in the evening, you've got the entire day and then you work in the evening. Because it's kind of like in the middle of the day, you haven't got enough time to spend a day doing something, but you haven't got enough time to spend an evening doing something. You've kind of got to do half and half. And I think that's why I used to feel hard done by. Because I was like, oh, I can't go and enjoy doing this because I'm not going to get back in time to stream, or I can't do this because I can't leave early enough to get there in time and stuff like that, you know, or enjoy the night. So yeah, that was kind of like the issue. I think the person with the best schedule is Run the Foot Market, because I went over to New York last year and his like schedule, he'll stream from like I think 8 a.m. his time through to like 2-3 p.m. and do like a 7-8 hour stream of like, and he'll do his grind. Then he's got like 3 p.m. until the rest of the day to do whatever he wants, and it's like normal time for everyone as well. Because like the issue is if you have a bad
difference, right?
Yeah, like if it's like 7 p.m. and you finish at 7 p.m., you're like, right, let's do some stuff. And people who've got normal jobs are just finishing work and they're knackered. They don't want to do stuff. Like they don't want to go enjoy their, you know what I mean? So that kind of schedule is amazing. I wish I had that.
Yeah. So in terms of the last question, I'd say is in terms of, you said it's a bit mundane in the content. Would you like to try and change that style of content? Would you like to do some more in real life football stuff? I saw you do a few bits of that.
Yeah, I love doing the football videos. It's just that, again, they don't really correlate that well. If they did a bit better, because like I did a football video in the summer, loved it, but it also cost me a lot of money. I think I spent like £700 in total, £800 in total making the video. Like I had someone professionally edit it and stuff like that. Loved the video, was really proud of it, thought it was a great video, and I think it got like 9k views, and it's like from 9k views, maybe making back like 70, 80 quid maximum if you've got a great CPM. Like, it's just not worth it. It's just sinking so much money. It's like, it's difficult.
Well, I think we're in a good place, Rich, to call half time on the Full90 podcast. When we're back, we'll be doing and finding out a lot more about our guest. It's Haber, so don't go anywhere. So it's that time again for the Full90 halftime quiz. Haber, you're in the hot seat. 6.5 is the top score set by Nepenthez. Do you think you've got a chance of beating that?
How did he get a 0.5?
We were too kind.
Okay. How many questions are there?
So there's between 10, 11 or 12. There is more if you get that far.
I don't think we've ever got through all the questions.
Okay.
The time has always expired.
All right, we'll try it then.
So it's 90 seconds to answer some questions about yourself, your interests, and your career, okay? Are we good to go?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, we're off. 90 seconds. To the closest million, how many views does It's Haber's channel have?
104 million.
108 million. Fortunately, no points. What month and year did you create your main channel?
June.
Which year?
2014.
Bingo.
1 point.
June 27th, 2014.
Wow.
Precise.
Your most viewed video is a Fortnite video.
Yeah.
How many views does it have?
1.5 million.
Bang, it does. Who's Man United's top goal scorer of all time?
Oh, shit. Wayne Rooney.
Correct.
Don't know why I bottled that.
Marcus Rashford won the St. Matt Busby Player of the Season award last year. Who was the last Academy graduate to win that award?
Wayne Rooney. No, Wayne Rooney didn't. Academy. Oh, I bottled it. I don't know. Pass.
Ryan Giggs. During Newcastle versus Man United, how many tweets did you post during the game?
The one gone?
Yep.
11.
15. Earlier this year, in a video called Impossible Goals or Discard the Player, how many penalties out of 5 did you score?
4.
Correct. How many followers do you have on Twitch?
114,000.
115,000.
114,700. It rounds it up. I promise you.
115k.
How many YouTube videos on your main channel have you uploaded?
2,206.
2,451. In Prestige 26 VPG Pro Club Series, where did you play the most?
Left mid.
Correct.
Last question, if you can get it in.
And the last one, we're going to give it to you. Can you name 7 icons on FC24 that play for Manchester United?
Ryan Giggs, Wayne Rooney, Laurent Blanc, no. Eric Cantona, George Best.
5.
Edwin van der Sar, Kasper Schmeichel.
But you're in.
Paul Scholes.
Point on the board.
Bobby Charlton.
It's a very good job that you said a few more, because I would have had to disqualify it, because Ryan Giggs isn't in the game anymore.
Oh, wow, he's not, is he?
But
I also said Kasper Schmeichel,
6
not
points.
Peter Schmeichel. I said
6 points on the board.
You know, I should have 7, I promise you. 114,736. I can show you. I'll prove it.
Net just survives.
Net survives for now.
Let me prove it, please.
There you have it. That's the full 90 half-time quiz of It's Haber. 6 points on the board.
I should have another question as well, because he stuttered for like one of them for about a solid 10 or 15
He's
seconds.
not happy about it. The full 90 quiz is concluded with It's Haber. 6 points on the board puts him in a very good position, but Net still top of the tree. Well, it's time to kick off the second half in the Full 90 podcast with our guest in the hot seat. It's Haber. We kick off the second half with a half-time snack. I asked you for your snack. You didn't give me one, really.
You panicked me a little bit, I can't lie.
I've given Richard the task to get your snack this week. If you are listening to this on audio platforms, you won't be able to see us because come over to YouTube.
Also, producer Dave, part-time. He's unable to join us today.
Producer Dave's on annual leave, so he's normally the man that gets the snacks. Richard's got you 2 snacks.
What would you like? What would you have wanted?
I don't know. I'm really bad. He kept pressing me for this, and it was really panicking me.
Okay,
I have no idea.
I got you a bag of carrots.
Do you know what? I'm not kidding. I love carrots. I'm not even joking. I actually love carrots.
So there you go.
I like them cooked. I don't like raw carrots. So
I'm actually surprised you've been somewhat happy with that. He did get you another snack as well.
I genuinely love carrots. I'm not kidding.
There you go. I see.
Carrots and peas, by the way. I absolutely love them.
This wasn't supposed to go like that.
Reese Esports, Reese's White.
Yeah, I've gone for a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. You would normally get this in the Christmas sort of selection pack. Do you like Reese's Peanut Butter?
No, not a fan. Don't like peanut butter.
You might be able to hear mine.
Right, you put it near the camera. You can hear Richard's coming. Oh,
Top tier.
Got a little chocolate Santa.
£3 that cost.
Other Santas are available. Lint mint chocolate.
Milk,
sorry. So this will be getting eaten.
He probably will eat this now as well. Can you get the other snack out? So we were expecting you to say, why have you got me carrots? But you didn't say that. And a Penfez go-to.
Really?
They were his snack.
Do you know what? I'd say the best crisps are McCoy's flame grilled steak.
Oh, we saw them in the shop.
So just for audio listeners, these are paprika, punchy, Max Walkers, bursting with flavour.
They are top tier, to be fair.
So they're
Thank you very
punchy.
much.
They probably stink as well.
I'm actually going to take these carrots home, by the way. I'm not even joking.
Well, they are reduced, so get them home and get them cooked
tonight. I love them tonight.
Or eaten soon.
I do like carrots.
I mean, Rich can undo his chocolate Santa as we kick off the second half now.
Before we, how are you going to eat that? Are you going to go for the full-on just like top of the head, or like what?
We might as well wait for Rich. Right, go on, Rich.
Or are you going to break it up?
I'm going to just...
I respect it. Can you imagine if they weren't hollow, by the way? Like, just...
Right,
imagine
put that down for a second. Where do we enough about chocolate? We nearly bought you selection box as well. But
I nearly bought you both a selection box and brought it with me. I was like, that's a bit cringe.
God, what the Christmas joy really is here.
That's a bit cringe, isn't it? So I was like, I didn't do it.
That's very kind of you.
Well, it's a thought that counts,
it's the thought.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Where do you want to kick off this second half? Because we've spoken so much about YouTube.
I want to talk about you for a second, right? I want to bring up a story on this podcast.
Oh, here we go. Right,
Greece. 2022 was it?
I'll just kick back and enjoy my Santa.
You just
this
sit back and relax.
Right? So we went to which one was it? Was it Rhodes?
So we went to Rhodes in Greece.
We went to Rhodes in Greece, right? This man got us a brand deal for the hotel.
Just some context on this,
That's
right?
the most Brandon Smith thing I've ever heard in my life.
Brandeel Smith, mate. We called him Brandeel Smith the whole week.
So I wanted to go away in the summer, and I'll be honest, like my mates were working. I needed someone that had a sort of similar sort of
with that choice
job to me, and I know that you boys wanted to go away as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I'm in touch with a hotel in Rhodes in Greece, and they'll basically do us like an influencer package. Just for context on this, we did pay to go to this hotel. They didn't pay us to go there. I thought, well, they paid me, but not the others. And basically, the deal was go to this hotel, and in return, we had to do some Instagram stories.
I did think when I saw middle of July scrolling my Instagram feed, Brandon Smith's story. Lovely to be out here in thanks to the hotel.
Right, so just context on this. So it was me, Haber, Nerdfire, and Flair, right? So, just for context, in terms of who owns an Instagram account, me and Haber do. The other two don't, or it's very not. It doesn't run, does it?
You're telling them they're small.
Tom's got a personal Instagram account that he doesn't really post much on. It's like for himself, like he doesn't have many followers or anything like that. So
it's not that they were small, Rich. They just didn't use the account.
Yeah.
And like, so the deal was, right, lads, we can get you a deal. Basically, the rooms were about 200 a night, but you could do it for 100 a night, all inclusive. Let's go away for 4 or 5 nights, right?
It's also a little bit of context, right? These rooms were not worth 100 a night, let alone 200 a night. This hotel. He's had the pelters. He's had the pelters for it, right? This hotel stank up the gaff. It was terrible.
Honestly, after one day, they were moaning about everything. They moaned about everything.
We didn't see him for half the time, right? We'd be walking down, he'd just be passing us, going from one massage to the spa and to the coffee bar or whatever. Like,
but on a real note, it was. I really enjoyed it. And
it was a great like.
Good to chill out.
5 days we went for, 6 days.
Yeah.
But then it like Maria was hounding us.
Yes. So just to end this conversation before we move on, the deal was right. You got this discount. Can we do some posts? Haber did his posts, didn't you? Yeah, saying, lovely time at the hotel.
Professional, yeah.
Flair still owes me 3 Instagram stories. Tom Nerdfire, if you're watching this, mate, you owe me an Instagram story and the hotel. And that was the last influencer trip we did.
This manager lady, by the way, Maria, I'm not kidding, she waited in the lobby for us because she was trying to chase these Instagram posts for us because she'd give us this discount. And her head was on a platter here. She ran the hotel Instagram account. She's not getting the traffic. And she literally waited in the lobby. She's like, Brendan, where are my Instagram posts?
Oh, that's good.
It was a good time, and again, I'd love to do it again. But
I actually would, yeah.
I don't think we'll be getting the deal this time.
No, not that. I would go somewhere else though.
I'd love you to come on these trips, but you just don't like hot holidays, do you?
No, mate. Me and the son don't get on.
Anyway, we're moving on from that. Where we wanted to kick off the second half is I guess a little bit on the negative side of content creation. We spoke about how consistent you have to be and how draining it can be and the burnout. In terms of you, like, from being in this game, what have been some of the difficult moments for you in terms of just like, it does get quite lonely, this job. You've got the pleasure of living with 2 of your good friends who do a very similar job to you, which I'm sure helps. But what are some of the hard times in this profession?
I don't find the hard times come mainly from the actual profession. I feel like it's hard times outside of it. And the difficult thing is then not having the time to deal with stuff outside of it. I think that's the main issue. So like I said, I've had some crap go on this year, and it's like not being able to take proper time off to then deal with that, or having to deal with that whilst you're like then trying to put on this sort of stream. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So that's probably the hardest part about it, to be honest. Like I said, the rest of it really isn't it's not that difficult of a gig. The burnout is quite difficult. And I understand from Net's point of view as well, because like Nep is in a bit of an interesting position, I think, mentally, where like he's got, I don't know how much he spoke about it with you on the podcast. I don't want to like put words in his mouth, but obviously with kids, I think he's got this drive that's different to like a lot of us, where like he's driving to try and set his kids up for life. So it's like he thinks about it differently. He is so zoned in. I think there's a lot of the older content creators that think like that. So I can see where they get burnt out a lot more. Whereas I think with me, the burnout happened to me like a couple of years ago, and that's why I sort of spent half the year last year not really doing much. But then, yeah, I don't think it's that difficult of a job. It's just the stuff outside then that you have to not bring inside and stuff that, yeah.
You posted something on social media that was outside in your personal life, announcing you coming out.
Yeah.
Last year, I think it was.
2 years ago
2
now,
years
I think.
ago?
I want to say. I don't know. Right after that holiday. Brandon just made me realise, it's like,
I heard you speaking on another podcast, and you said that you weren't going to sort of publicly say anything. I suppose the question I've got for you is, why did you think it was the right time when you did announce it to sort of open up yourself and show the true Haber?
Oh, I don't know. I think the way I can explain it is if you've got something like that you're sort of holding on to, it's like, you ever had an argument with someone that you're really close with, and that you feel on your shoulders, you feel that pressure that built up, like, because you're angry at them, but also you don't want to be, and you want it to be over. And then when you're like, either they apologize, you apologize, like that relief, all of it finally, like it's off your chest. It was kind of a bit like that. And what had happened was EA had given that lad from Blackpool or something like that, like a special card. And the reaction was awful. The reaction was terrible. And all I could think of was like, I could imagine so many kids or people, like teenagers, whatever, like that are holding on to that, then seeing the reaction. And I was just like, I can't imagine what it would have been for me 10 years ago if I'd have seen the reaction, and like it would have made me almost hate myself. You know, I can imagine people genuinely being angry at themselves for the way they are because of the reaction people have. So I sort of took it upon myself to then I tried to change the narrative a little bit to try and make anyone that was either watching my content or around at the time feel a bit better, really. And I think that's worked a little bit. Like I've had a lot of messages over the last couple of years from like, the one thing I get a lot is I get a lot of dads messaging me asking how to deal with it, how to sort of deal with a scenario if they think their kid's gay or whatever. But yeah, it was kind of a bit of that, and it was just kind of a bit like, if I get it over with now as well, whilst there's already a bunch of it, like you know, that lad came out and there was stuff happening in the FIFA community, then it's like, it's all one big clump then. It's not like, okay, 2 years down the line, oh, now it's all about Haber's came out now or whatever. Like it's all in one thing and it's over with then, and then you can all move on kind of thing.
You sort of being able to control your own story as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think like it was it was one of those things where you just think the timing just makes sense. So, and looking back at it, I think maybe I could have done it earlier. Maybe I didn't do it at all. I don't think it really matters.
That was going to be our question. Obviously, you're 25 now, right?
Yeah.
So like, how long would you say that you wanted to maybe sort of come out?
I don't think I really wanted to be honest. I just wasn't that bothered. Like, to me, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
But then I know that a lot of people don't think like that.
And my other question was, did any of your close peers know, or did you just keep it to yourself?
They all want to sit there and act like they did, right? Brooksy was the main one. Like, oh yeah, I knew. Fuck off, did you? Come on. I don't give off that vibe at all. No one knew. I didn't really tell anyone, but not like there was I think a couple of people in my life that knew. Just if ever it came up in conversation or whatever. But then apart from that, I don't think anyone else knew.
How's it changed your content, or maybe, I don't know, maybe your streams? Because I've seen some terrible tweets on socials come at you, but then the way you deal with it is just, you know. I
know. I couldn't believe Richard tweeted all that stuff.
the way you deal with the haters is just incredible.
Do you know, on the night that happened, I lost, I think, like 3K subs on YouTube on that night, which was just mind-blowing.
Really, yeah.
It was mind-blowing because I was just like, I thought maybe I'd lose a few hundred. I was like, 3. I didn't know that many people, because I only came out on Twitter.
Why do people care?
Yeah, that's
no idea. One of my favourite things was that when I made that tweet, there'd be like content creators like congratulating me. My favourite thing was people who reply, "You're next. Come on, your turn." Like Danny Aaron's replied like some at King or whatever, and then sort of like the top reply was like, "Your turn now, Danny." And I was creasing at those ones reading it. Like people like Spencer Owen, people were replying that to Spencer Owen. I'm like, mate, he's
got
like,
a child and
he's got like. So I was creasing at that. But yeah, I mean, there was a huge negative about it. I think I do think I would have lost a lot of people on sort of Twitch and YouTube that just have never watched me again because of that. It's what it is. Like I'm not like I don't, you know, it sucks, but whatever. I've just always tried to like maintain how I've always been. Like I've not changed at all as a person.
Yeah.
So
we've always said this as well. Like sometimes in life there has to be a moment where like the perspective changes for a lot, and I think, you know, for you doing what you did and for being brave about it, like I reckon you've changed that mindset for a lot of people. I
also think just going on like the hate that like people, it's just like it's an easy thing to say. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Like I get it all the time. Like, what did I get called the other day? Like, like a bag of washing. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, McDonald's hairline, overweight, like all that stuff. I'm just like, yeah, okay, fairs. I know. Like,
my favourite one is someone would say, "You're fat and gay, pick a struggle."
Which was like, we've got it, like, we've had it so much that it's just like, it's not even, it's more sad that like, that's actually an insult. Like,
yeah, it
that's
is.
the sad reality that like, it's not an insult.
It's weird because it's just like normalised for me now. Like I don't even think of it as like an insult. It's just like a normal thing now. Yeah, I don't know. It's it doesn't really affect me, but I can see why it affects a lot of other people. Like you say, there's been some awful stuff, but then there's also been like a lot of positivity around it as well. Yeah. But the one thing I've like kind of made sure is that it's never really been a personality trait of mine or anything like that. And I've always said, like, I've been offered so many like deals because I'm now a minority or whatever, or like I'm a differential in a deal, and I've never took them. Like I got offered to go to Qatar in the World Cup. Why would I go to Qatar, mate? Like, you know, what a silly idea that is. But like, it was like this whole like, oh, you know, we want to see an LGBTQ fucking content creator go over there and show it's like normal. I was just like what? It's just, so yeah, I've just made sure like to just be me. I've not changed at all. I'm no different whatsoever. I don't try and make it this big song and dance. Like, I'll take the piss out myself for it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll literally sit there and joke about it to myself or to other people about myself. So, but it's not.
What other opportunities have you had?
Oh, all sorts. Loads of stuff where like they just want like that token gay person or whatever, just to like, you know, be there and show that they're like different. Oh, look at us, we care, we're an ally. Whatever. I don't really give a shit. Like, it just doesn't, you know, I don't care.
Gonna change topics. Manchester United.
Can we change the topic again?
I mean, firstly, you were born in Leicester. Where did Man United?
I was born in Manchester.
Oh, born in Manchester, lived in Leicester.
I lived in Leicester. I grew up in
Born in Old Trafford.
I was born in Old Trafford. Yeah, I was born in the suburb of Charlton Stand. No, yeah, I was born in a place called Bury.
Always a United fan.
Yeah, so I was born in Bury, which is like Greater Manchester. All my family support Man United. I grew up around sort of Man United fans or whatever. I mean, you will in Leicester anyway, to be honest. Like, you know, but no, I grew up in Leicester, so I had every opportunity. The thing is, the funny thing about it is, so I had a season ticket at Leicester for a little while when I was a kid, just to watch football, or whatever. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, I had a trial at Leicester and stuff like that. So Leicester was a big part of my life growing up as a football club. But they were League One, and they were crap, you know, like, and then they were Championship for a little while. Obviously, they got into the Premier League. But the funny thing about living in Leicester is, after 2016, the amount of Leicester fans 20x'd, 30x'd. All my friends that I grew up with that were Man United fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, they all now support Leicester. All right, yeah, okay.
Not this season, back in the Championship. Changed allegiances again now.
It's crazy. It's nuts. Leicester have got about 400,000 season ticket holders, apparently. That's what, yeah, like, it is a joke, though. Like, that was always, didn't annoy me. I just thought it was a bit silly that, like, all these guys now they've won the league, or they look likely to win the league. Because the main thing was the lead up to it. About 5 games left of the season. That's when they all started supporting Leicester, and that's when, like, people were hanging flags out their windows and stuff like that. Like, and there are a lot of people that were genuine Leicester fans the whole time, but in comparison, like, it's nuts how many there are now.
It's an interesting one because, you know, you're one of the few people that I actually think gets Twitter right as well, or X. So to say, in terms of like just interaction, you get interaction on the platform. As some of the like personally, I don't really know how to grow on Twitter, but your tweets about everything do really well on there, especially when you're speaking about United. There's a lot of passionate tweets that went on there, especially when it's not going too well. Does it ever get a great question I'd love to ask is, does it, as a United fan, do you ever just think just can't be bothered anymore?
Yes. Yeah, every week
because it just feels like, as people say, the merry-go-round of Man United. Like, it feels like sometimes the amount of press you get from all the stuff that's going on is actually somehow good to the, like, in terms of for the clubs. Like, the clubs, like, whoever comes in as manager, it's a great start at the beginning, and then it goes downhill. But then everyone's talking about it. It's in the media all the time. It's always being spoken about Manchester United. It's like, if we're not going to be great, then let's just talk about how bad we are. Yeah.
Well, there's definitely a roadmap for being a Man United content creator and just like being negative all the time and growing. I think my problem, I don't tweet about United to get numbers. I just do it because it's like, I get so emotional when watching football, so emotional, and like everything I tweet is so raw. And it's not like I remember last season, you know, when we started off with the 2 losses, I tweeted out, we're getting relegated. I genuinely in my heart believed we were getting relegated. Like, in my heart believed it. So like, but then you have a lot of other content creators in the Man United space now that have learned that the trick is to just constantly shit on the club and players and constantly tell everyone how bad we are or why this player's a problem, why that player's a problem, and that's how you get numbers. And that's why it exhausts me. It's not so much the club that exhausts me, because that, you know, you get emotional fatigue out of anything, but it's the constant like moaning about certain players or a manager and stuff like that. And it's like, it annoys me because you go back 8 months and you see them loving that player or loving that manager. So that sort of reactionary I'm reactionary in a game, but like, you know, 2 days later on a Tuesday, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like I can think logically now. I'm not sat there still blaming someone for a goal or something, you know?
I saw you did a couple of bits. Was it the United stand?
Yes.
Is that something post FC content, not necessarily with United stand? That you might go and do your own football content. Like, is that something that interests you, or is it just sort of guest appearances here and there?
I'd love to talk about football and have like a proper football podcast, but I also don't have the sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Like, United stand, they do it really well because Goldbridge is such a really good marketing person. Like, and I know for a fact that a lot of the stuff that Goldbridge does, like he knows in his head that that's clippable and that will go viral as a clip and stuff like that. And I don't have that kind of thing. And I think that there is so many people now that have a football podcast that like, it's the same two people talking about football every week and they just talk about the same thing over and over again and it just gets so boring. So it's like, I'd love to sit there and talk football and if people cared, but I don't think people are caring enough to sit there and listen to me talk football for 2 hours a week with the same person about the same thing over and over again. Like, this is what podcasting's for, in my opinion, having a guest on and asking and figuring out things about other people, or like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's talking about Man United for 2 hours is a thing. So yeah, it would probably just be like guest appearances here and there and stuff like that, really.
Yeah, I did see you went on through Geordie's as well. I saw you did like a bit of a football chat show there.
Yeah.
I actually got asked to go on one of those, but as a Brighton fan, but I couldn't do that weekend. We might have been sitting next to each other.
No, yeah. I did United Man City one where that was just me and Brian. Brian's a top guy, by the way. Really, really nice guy. I love that guy. He's awesome. But then,
fancy the podcast?
Honestly, Brian's got a lot of really cool stories about like YouTube and stuff like that as well. But he's one of those people. I think he'd be a bit similar to Nep in the sense that like he's got such a level head with everything, and he's gone through so much with that I think he'd be perfect to like almost like grill and figure out all these things that have happened. But like the one that was tough about the kickoff was when it was the Newcastle versus Man United Carabao Cup final. I was the only United fan, 2 Newcastle fans, 2 Arsenal fans that hated United. I was completely ambushed. I was 1 against 4. It was a painful 2 hours. Luckily we won. That's what made it all worth it. But it was just like everything was just constantly a dig at United. And I was just like, ugh, I just want to watch the game and scream when Casemiro scores. You know what I mean? Like,
well, speaking of Manchester United, if you had to name your 5-a-side Manchester United team of all time, who's in there?
Of all time? Oh, you put me on the spot here. That's not fair. I think in a 5-a-side, so we're making a squad that makes sense for 5-a-side, right?
So,
because Onana's like the perfect 5-a-side keeper. Can just ping a ball up to somebody.
Okay, let's talk about quality.
Okay.
Not we're going down to goals to play 5-a-side.
Yeah.
So let's go all time 5-a-side teams are best in their positions or best in their category, so to speak.
So we're going down to goals. I picked De Gea because he's amazing with his feet, saving with feet. Obviously, he can't pass the ball to save his life, but that guy made so many saves with his feet that were just outstanding.
Over Van der Sar?
Yeah, well, Van der Sar was a quality keeper, but I think football was a bit different back then as well. I think De Gea as a shot stopper, I think was better than Van der Sar as a shot stopper, but I think Van der Sar was more of a complete keeper in his time. So I'd take, if you're asking me to go down goals and play against someone, I'm taking De Gea. And that's like, and don't get me wrong, I'd also love Onana because he's like, he can ping a ball and whatnot. But like De Gea, you get like a bottom corner thing. And I'm not kidding, De Gea is the only goalie I'd know in existence that is getting down to that quick enough to get it. In terms of defence, I'd maybe go one CB, 2 centre mids, 1 striker. I feel like that's a bog standard 5-a-side. So I could be like, I'll go Vidic because he's just the Serbian brick shit house, isn't he? But part of me, 4-5-a-side, would want to take Licha, Lissandro Martinez, because he's just so, like, I think he's really well-rounded. So I'd probably go Lissandro. Midfield, Paul Scholes is first name on the list, 100%. And then...
maybe a winger? now, or
I'd go. Honestly, I'd go someone like Fred in midfield.
Fred.
Relentless energy.
What, Fellaini up top?
No. I think Chicharito's up. No, I'm joking. Obviously,
Louis Saha.
You gotta go Rooney up top, haven't you?
Yeah.
But like, telling me Fred wouldn't cook on five-a-side.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, if I'm building the five-a-side, I'm thinking, I need a winger now. I want to go for a winger.
Nah, five-a-side, you don't need a winger. You need
CR7?
I mean, Ronaldo up top would be fantastic as well, yeah.
So Rooney or Ronaldo? Which one?
I think I'd pick Rooney still. I'm thinking of it from a five-a-side perspective. Obviously, like, if I went with 2 up top and 1 midfielder, I'd pick Ronaldo with him because Ronaldo is just one of the best ever. But like, I'm just thinking like someone that can pick a ball up next to the wall on this right hand side, right? Who's going to just drill one bottom left when you need a goal? Is Rooney's going to just absolutely level one, do you know?
Drop man.
I know I'm going to get pelters for putting Fred in there, by the way. But tell me, Fred wouldn't be an amazing five-a-side player. He wouldn't get in my all-time 11 or anything like that. But like,
I mean, you're not a United fan, but
I've watched enough for Man United. I would probably go. I think De Gea in goal's a good shout. I'd go Rio at centre half. Probably midfield, Rooney.
That's a fair shout. Fred, yep, I agree.
Keane. Five-a-side gets a bit rough.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then up top, Berbatov, Dimitar.
Oh, he did do a little like five-a-side.
I didn't think about Berbatov, to be fair.
What a player.
Yeah, that's a great shout.
Well, another thing to move on to, I heard you've been busy, Richard, planning.
I've been very busy.
It's a Premier League 11 player challenge. Explain the rules.
So, you're allowed.
Just to confirm, I'm not playing.
Premier League all-time 11, but you're only allowed one player from one club or one nation. So, for example, if I take Kevin De Bruyne, I'm not allowed to take another player from Chelsea or Man City or from Belgium. Haber, your team.
Right, this really stressed me out because Richard's the kind of person that I want to impress when it comes to ball knowledge. We would do these when we play pro clubs. We'd have these like pre-pro clubs quizzes, and I was always trying to like think of the most obscure answer because I was just wanting to impress Rich because his ball knowledge is ridiculous. So like, I would always want to impress him. So I'm really hoping that you quite like this one.
All right, go for it.
So I've gone in goal, Brad Guzan.
Okay.
Not an amazing keeper. But I thought with a goalkeeper, use someone obscure nation and maybe not a team that you're going to want an outfielder from.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it makes sense. Right back, Seamus Coleman.
Yep.
Ireland, Everton.
Good shout.
Out the park. I went with Company at centre back.
Okay.
Man City, and I know Belgium's a really good one to tick off, but like I thought,
your Man City token's gone though, right?
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was a really tough one because, you know, I wanted other players from there as well, but I kept getting down to CB and not having amazing options. So I really wanted to focus on getting a balanced team as well. I went with Thiago Silva as a second centre-back, Chelsea, Brazil. And then at left-back, I went with Gareth Bale.
Wow.
It's a great shout.
So it's a pretty solid defence. If you're taking them in their peaks, because Seamus Coleman was a bloody good right-back at this time.
Fantastic.
Midfield, Steven Gerrard.
What formation, by the way?
4-3-3.
Yep.
Steven Gerrard, got like easy, one club man, you know. I went with De Roon, the Dutch. He played for Middlesbrough, right? I know you sat there like,
okay,
why? But De Roon at Atalanta is actually a really solid all-round midfielder.
Yep.
Third one, this is a bit of an interesting one, with Esteban Cambiasso.
Okay.
I just thought, you know.
Did he play for Leicester?
Leicester City.
Yeah, and he was a good player, man.
2015 Player of the Year.
He was great. Do you know, because I remember watching him and it was just so obvious he was better than everybody else. It was crazy. My front three, Ronaldo right wing.
Yep.
Henry left wing.
Yep.
I went with Michu up top.
Michu, a little bit of the old.
Okay.
Do you remember that half season
unbelievable for Swansea.
Unreal. So that's my team. And it's a bit like, you know, but this really stressed me out, honestly. It was a really difficult one to sort of go through.
And just for context, to remind everyone at home, that isn't the all-time Premier League 11.
No,
that is
one nation, one club challenge.
And if I've messed it up and like one of these guys played for an academy somewhere, apologies. Like I did try and do my thorough research on this.
Let us know in the comments down below what yours would be.
Yeah, Richard, I can't imagine what you've been planning for this. Right, one nation, one club, Premier League exile, what is it?
Goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris. French Spurs. Right back, Coleman. I think it's just the go-to.
Yeah.
My centre-backs are not very good.
Oh, no.
Winston Reid, He was really good at
Do you
West
know
Ham
what
for
I
a few
thought about
seasons.
it? Yeah.
And Joachim Andersen, currently for Palace. Good player.
I
Danish
thought about
international.
Anderson. Yeah,
You've never watched Palace Pro, have you?
Good, mate.
No, Anderson's solid, man. I had Anderson
Left
on a
back
different
Andy
list.
Robertson.
Yeah.
3 midfield. As the 6, Cambiasso.
Yeah.
I think it's just a go-to.
Love that.
My 2 centre mids. This is where the creative juice is flowing. David Silva and Mesut Ozil.
Fairs.
I mean, who's up front then?
Right wing, Brian Mbeumo.
Who?
Brian Mbeumo.
Brentford.
Yeah. This is where.
I
But
used to always think he was French for some reason. I don't know why.
Is he from
youth
Congo?
career? Youth career, France. But
There you go.
Senior career, international leagues.
There you go.
This is where it gets really good. Off the left, Eden Hazard. Striker, Ronaldo.
Fairs. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
My three outside shouts are Mbeumo and my 2 centre halves. But Winston Reid, West Ham fans, was very good.
Yeah, Can I give you Brooksy's as well? Because Brooksy helped me with this.
Go on then.
But he had a different team to mine. So Brooksy's was in goal, David Marshall.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ronaldo's cooking against that.
Then he
Is that
went
Chelsea and Borough.
Cardiff, Hull, Norwich, Wigan, Derby, QPR, and Scotland. He gave me all the teams for these as well. Right back Coleman.
Yeah.
Centre backs were Anderson and Wes Morgan. Premier League winner.
Ooh, okay, yeah. I did look at Rob Huth, but he played at Chelsea.
I looked at Fuchs as well, but I thought Fuchs, what the fuck am I doing? Left back, he went Bale as well. Spurs, Southampton, Wales. Then he went with Steven Gerrard, Ballack, and Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, not a bad shout.
Then his front 3 was Ronaldo, Aguero, and Omri.
It's a nice front 3.
Yeah, it's
I'd have
very
maybe
nice
gone
front
for Tonali over Gomares.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I thought of a good one. I thought Ogbonna was not a bad one for centre back as well, but
It's a good challenge. It took me a little while to do it. If you fancy it,
it is a thinker.
Let me know in the
is
comments.
A thinker.
Yeah, let us know your 11 Premier League squad down below in the comments. We're heading to our sort of last quarter of the half now. I think that the great way to sort of lead this conversation on with Haber now is what's next? What do you want to be doing in the next couple of years? Do you want to be doing, as Richard said, more sort of football, Man United stuff? Do you want to reinvent your FC24 content? Where's your head at? Are you still trying to work that out?
I don't know. I really enjoy this kind of free roll in life at the minute. I don't know. I'm one of those people where I like to see if an opportunity presents itself, and then if it's something that seems like a good idea, to like throw all my eggs at it, kind of thing. But sort of until then, I'm really happy doing what I do now. And what I've been trying to do recently, I've really got back into football again. I play football 5 or 6 times a week now. I play for 2 different teams as well, so it's like, yeah, it's a lot. So that's been a big focus of mine. And then just like kind of growing up as well. I feel like when you get to this sort of age, like you're starting to learn. You really start to learn what adult life's like. Like I'm a different person to what I was 4 years ago. And I think it's like learning now what my interests are and stuff. Because I wouldn't even, if you ask me, what your interests are, I'd be like football. And then I'm like, I don't really know. So it's kind of just figuring out that now as well.
What else do you enjoy doing other than watching football and maybe
playing football?
And playing football.
And playing football and gaming.
Talk about football. Gaming, literally.
Is there anything interesting that we might not know?
You play a lot of other games outside FC.
Yeah, I do.
As well. I see you all the time on Discord playing Valorant or
League of Legends or Fortnite. I used to be a pro Fortnite player. I didn't talk about that, did we? Yeah, I used to be a pro Fortnite player. I was signed to Fnatic for about 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
When?
Like summer of 2018, I think it was.
You signed for Fnatic?
Yeah. I was doing like all the Fortnite tournaments and that.
Was that during the World Cup?
No. So.
This is when they were like Haber, Burnt Shape, and they were all pro players.
No, so it was back when it was. Do you remember the tournaments were kills? It wasn't about placement and stuff like that. I stopped playing when it got
kill races and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when I was like doing all these like little tournaments and stuff like that, and like it was fun. I won money on it and stuff like that. Like I made a little bit, but it was back then when like. Yeah, you'd go into a squad and 2 of you were on one team, 2 of you on another, and you'd like fight like Fortnite Fridays and stuff like that. Like all those sort of tournaments. Did a bunch with Nep. Like me and Nep did tournaments, but like that was rough because it was literally just me. Like Nep, bless him, was not a very good Fortnite player. Although, we did play a lot.
Was he going 16th place?
No, Nep's favourite thing, right? Whenever if we weren't playing it, like one of those things, like this is how Nep liked to play Fortnite. He used to like to land like junction all the way out the top of the map and just slowly come in with the zone and stay on the edge of the zone until the very last, just 2 kill wins. But for a whole season, we had like a 45% win ratio because it was just that every game. And I was always good enough to kill the last 2 people. So it was just like, we just have 2 kill wins every time in duos, but we loved it. It was fun.
How much longer, I know we said earlier like what you want to do in the future, where do you see yourself, but how much longer do you want to be doing this?
I'd love to do it for the rest of my life, if I'm being honest with you. I'd love to be in some kind of content creation for the rest of my life. I don't know where that would...
Back to editing full time, maybe?
Yeah. Like, I know Brooks edits. Brooks used to be a YouTuber, now he edits, and like, I'd be happy doing that, yeah. To be honest, like, I realized when I lived with Morgz, I don't quite like being the person out there, like, in front of everyone. I don't mind being behind the scenes. Like, I don't like fame. I'm not famous or anything like that. Like, I'm not like, now all that's died off. People don't recognize. I don't get recognized or anything like that. Like, I'm not a popular person, but like back then it was a bit mad, and I realized quickly I didn't like that. So I'd be happy being behind the scenes. I'd be happy like producing or like
creative
editing.
content.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think whenever the coin sponsors dry up, we'll have that conversation.
Is it hard to maybe go into like an editing role when you have tasted maybe the
I think
peak?
for some people, absolutely. But like, although I do think I come across maybe as a bit arrogant with a bit of an ego, I genuinely if it was like a demotion, I would not be asked. I would not care. Like, it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't be upset about it. Like, I'd be happy to work under someone else and do other stuff. Like, I'd be humble like that. Like, I don't really care.
Fair enough.
So if you guys need a
editor
or something, you know.
Well, I think this pulls to a great part to end the conversation. Unless you've got anything else to ask us, maybe when we next going on a holiday and
we messaged, didn't we? We're going to do something in the winter. So
I know you wanted to go to New York, didn't you? Have you been before?
I've been before a few times.
Tenerife, maybe.
I mean, we went to Fuerteventura last year. That was nice, but I think the issue now is a lot of the lads got girlfriends and stuff like that, so it's a bit of a nightmare.
And also the timing now. Everyone wants to just grind the game.
How much longer do you see yourself living with the boys?
No, that was a tough one because we almost went our separate ways last year. You know, Brooksy's had a missus now for a few years. Skeggsy's now got a missus. So like, there was almost a thing where I think they wanted to move into Birmingham, and I don't want to live in a city. I wanted to live outside, so I almost got my own place, and they almost moved out. But then we realised that we kind of have it good where we are. Maybe another year or two. Depends, really. Depends, like, because we're getting to that age now where like people start thinking kids and houses and stuff like that. So like, whenever they're ready to call it, I'm down to just sort of move into my own place.
Move to Manchester, Old Trafford.
I've thought about it.
Ticket.
I've thought about it. The only problem I have at the minute is that I have 2 different football teams that are around me, and I've got like, my life is sort of centered around football at the minute. I play sort of Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's like, if I moved away, I wouldn't be able to continue that. And I love that lifestyle at the minute. I absolutely love it. So
it's important as well to have that sort of outlet of something.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. It's nice sort of having friends that have no idea what you do. Agreed. One of them's been trying to set me up to fight Tommy Fury for the last 2 months because he has no idea. He didn't realise I'm not like big on YouTube. Like, they see the numbers and they think it's massive, but they don't realise like I'm a literal nobody in this scene. Like,
right, gents, we're gonna have to call this conversation. All right, we're in very heavy added time.
It's Haber, time, man.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
We've loved having you on season 1. Nearly took top spot in the full 90 quiz.
In my heart, I did. All right, I got a 7. And when I send you a screenshot tonight of my Twitch analytics, you'll update it. All right.
And all the best for this year and what's to come. And there we have it, Richard. Another great episode as we come towards the end of season 1 of the Full90 podcast.
It was a blast talking to Haber, I've got to say. Really enjoyed it.
It was. If you've enjoyed the podcast, whether you're listening on audio or visual, leave us a like, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review. That's the Full90 podcast with Haber, and we'll see you very soon.